There's a commonality between every single person that I've ever met that I find extremely interesting. And that is the desire to be important and great. We all share the desire to be important and great. Have you ever wondered why that is? Why we all share this commonality? As a matter of fact, I was reading the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. It is one of the best books ever created. I think it would solve a lot of depression issues, social anxiety issues. You should read it if you haven't. But I was reading this book, and it's on a chapter about trying to inspire people to feel great and important. That way you can make them feel better. You can lift up their days. You can make them like you if you make people feel important and great. And so I absorbed that information and I put it, into the back of my mind, and I thought, why is that the case for everybody? That's a pretty universal rule. Why is it that way? So we fast forward, and I'm watching this video, and he's talking about how there isn't really such thing as a great person. Now you might be wondering, well, what do you mean there's no such thing as a great person? I know great people. I can think of tons of examples, like Jordan Peterson, like Michael Jordan, like LeBron James, like The Rock. I can think of people that I would consider as great, like, I don't know, Johnny Depp, whoever you look up to, your role model. You would perceive them as great. But it's not them that's great. It's not. It's the work they do in which makes them great. It's the work, not them. Wait a minute. It's the work that makes people great. I always thought that greatness was this thing that some people were born with, Some people had this natural talent to do things. Some people were better singers. Me personally, I'm not a singer. But like my ex-girlfriend, she was a fantastic singer. Well, she was born to be great at singing. But the reality is, it doesn't matter if you have the talent or not. If you don't work, if you don't grind it out, you're gonna be nothing. You don't become great by being born great. You become great by doing great. And so that really got me thinking. Well, that means the work I have to do, it needs to be great. Well, what even is great work? And so time moves forward, right? And I'm working on this video, and I'm just flipping through my Bible, and I so luckily happen to end up on Ephesians 2:10. Let me read this Bible verse for you. Let's see if this can change your perception of greatness like it did for me. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which," and this is the important part, "God prepared in advance for us to do." God has prepared great works, good works, for you to do. The question is, are you going to do it? So if being a great person, obviously you won't be the greatest person, that was Jesus. If you want to be a great person, you have to do the great work that God has prepared for you. You're not alone. You don't have to sit there, throw darts at the wall, trying to figure out what it is. God has already prepared it for you. That's beautiful. That is such a beautiful thing. You have a purpose that's good, that God prepared for you. And this ties into that. So the question to you is, are you going to take it? Are you going to accept the work? Are you going to do it? The good work that God has specifically prepared for you, knowing that you would exist? And that's a question I got to ask myself too. It's an everyday question. Am I going to do the great work God has prepared for me? And it's not always easy. It's not. And I don't know if it's always clear either. I like what David Goggins has to say about this, though. David Goggins, he's a great ultramarathon runner, Navy SEAL, one of the hardest men on the planet, one of the toughest men on the planet. And he says that you know exactly what to do. And now, I could be wrong about this, but at least in my own life, every time I've had this question, what are my great works? What are the good works that I was supposed to do? What is God's plan? I innately knew everything that I was supposed to do. And I think the same is going to be true for you. Deep down, if you really look and you really search, you're going to know exactly what you need to do and exactly where you need to go. With that being said, I encourage you to find your great works and do the great deeds that you were born to do. Have a blessed day.